Before we start, I want to let you know that you're going to have a chance to take your own notes a little later in this video. If you'd like, you can pause the video right now and get some notepaper and a pen. Okay, on to listening part 5. In this part, you'll be watching a video about 3 people with differing opinions on an issue. You'll also see a statement before the video. You will watch a conversation that takes place outside a store during lunch break. 2 men and 1 woman are discussing how sales could be increased in the small toy store where they currently work as sales staff. So even before the video, we've got a lot of information here. Here's one method for laying out your notes for this part. For the setting and situation, you could even include something like this. Remember to listen for each person's opinion in this part. This will be important for some of the questions. Okay, one last thing. Since this is a video and not simply an audio clip, you'll have access to a lot more information. You might be wondering what things to note down. Should you remember the colors of their clothing, jewelry, background items in the room? Don't worry about any of that. Instead, try to focus on the speakers and their reactions. Remember that each of them has a different opinion. Who agrees or disagrees with whom? What do their expressions and tones of voice tell you? Is anyone particularly happy or upset or excited? The video is a bit like the picture you see at the beginning of listening part 1. It'll help you better understand the situation in which the discussion takes place. Let's watch part of the video now. I won't make any notes during the video. Instead, try to make your own notes on a piece of paper. After the video is finished, we'll compare. Ready to begin?
You will watch a conversation that takes place outside a store during lunch break. 2 men and 1 woman are discussing how sales could be increased in the small toy store where they currently work as sales staff. This is Michelle. This is Taylor. This is Ken.
Hey guys, I think this is a good place to talk privately and have lunch.
Yeah, we only have a short time, so let's get started. Should I take some notes? We don't want to forget anything.
Good idea. Okay, I'll start. I think the store's biggest problem is spending too much money on model train inventory that isn't displayed well. On the other hand, we don't spend enough on plastic models, games, things that would sell like hotcakes if we had the inventory in stock. We need to satisfy our market.
You're right. Plus, we have too much inventory of miscellaneous stuff like jigsaw puzzles and kites. Those don't sell at all. Not to mention all that craft stuff. Why is that even here?
I can answer that. 20 years ago, the store had great business in selling kids' crafts. Now they've just lost interest. I think parents can get better selection and prices online or at big box stores. So now we have all these little bits and pieces from different crafts. None of it sells.
Okay, so did you find it any different taking notes for a video instead of an audio clip? Were any parts harder or easier? Note that the second man, Ken, hasn't spoken yet. But I know he will at some point in the video, so I've still got a space for him. So far in the video, the staff have been discussing problems with the store's items, and why some items aren't selling very well. Now let's look at a question for this part. Remember that in listening parts 4, 5, and 6, all the questions are presented on the same screen, and you select your answer from a drop-down menu. This is a bit small, so let's zoom in. What is the problem with the craft supplies? From our notes, we know that Michelle, the woman, was explaining that crafts no longer sell very well because people can now get cheaper prices elsewhere. Therefore, A, crafters shop elsewhere, is the correct answer. In the next video, you'll learn about some note-taking tips for listening part 6.